It's Wednesday, September 24th.
He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly.
Jimmy Kimmel taking aim at U.S. President Donald Trump and censorship on his first show back after being suspended.
I have absolute confidence in this program.
Then why did you say what you said?
Canada's public safety minister officially rolls out a gun buyback program after questioning how it would be enforced in a leaked audio conversation.
I need to try and get this money back as soon as possible, right?
Air Canada customers say they're now stuck waiting for refunds after they were stranded during this summer's strike.
This data is being used to target the content and ads that users see, which can have harmful impacts, particularly on youth.
And a joint investigation says TikTok has been collecting personal data from hundreds of thousands of Canadian children, despite claiming its platform is not for users under the age of 13. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to your morning, everybody. I'm Lindsey Deluce. Anne-Marie, as you know, is away this week. She's been reporting around the clock in that typhoon.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I'm Teddy Wilson. I've been really glued to her Instagram stories as well, like the live in-the-moment reporting. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, so she'll be joining us a little bit later on this morning from Hong Kong. I'm Kelsey McEwen. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Can we just talk about the humidity for a second, how it feels like the middle of summer?
Yeah.
Yes.
It does.
Right? So today, right across the country, we're seeing above average temperatures. In Saskatchewan, 31 degrees in Regina and Saskatoon. So we'll talk about this heat coming up in your full national forecast.
It's amazing. You know what they say? It's not the heat, it's the humidity.
That's right.
That's what gets you. There you go. All right, let's turn to the top news stories we're following here for you this morning. An emotional Jimmy Kimmel made his return to late night last night.
You like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man.
In his monologue, Kimmel praised Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, for forgiving the man accused of killing her husband. Kimmel's first show back was also a defense of free speech. He called efforts by U.S. President Donald Trump and others to silence comedians, including himself, un-American. Last night's show was not carried by two major U.S. affiliate networks, Sinclair and Nexstar.
Let it be all it is, small and still and better left alone. Some things are better broken.
And Canadian Sarah McLachlan was the musical act for last night's show, while actor Glenn Powell was the other guest on the couch. Well, Canada's Liberal government says it will begin its long-awaited gun buyback program next month after questions were raised by some leaked audio.
On Monday, a minister says that his program won't work. On Tuesday, he says he's going ahead with the program. When will the Prime Minister fire this minister?
Audio of a conversation where the public safety minister questions the enforceability of the program was leaked. Minister Gary Anandasangari said the context of his comments were that he wanted the buyback implemented differently and faster. As the program stands now, firearm owners have well into 2026 to comply, and big questions remain about police resources. The program will start with a 6-week pilot project in Nova Scotia next month before opening up nationwide this fall. And Prime Minister Mark Carney says he's anticipating a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping soon.
Those discussions will deepen. I expect to. I will expect at the appropriate time to be meeting with President Xi Jinping, but continuing this dialogue with the Premier.
Carney met with the second most powerful man in China, Premier Li Qiang. In the first time in nearly 8 years, a Canadian Prime Minister has met with a Chinese leader. Canada and China are locked in a tariff battle over canola and electric vehicles. But the Prime Minister said there are a range of opportunities to broaden Canada and China's trade relationship, including clean and conventional energy and agriculture.
It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad.
And it appears common ground is being found on Ukraine at the United Nations Leaders Week in New York City. Trump is changing his tone on Russia. After meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Trump said Kyiv could, quote, win all of Ukraine back in its original form with the support of Europe and NATO. Trump has repeatedly expressed his desire to end the war, but has previously said it would likely involve Ukraine giving up some territory. There is still no sign of a missing 5-year-old boy in Alberta, and crews are now expanding their search area.
We are offering every SAR resource possible throughout Alberta and BC to support this search.
The RCMP say Darius McDougall was walking with his siblings on a mountain road when he got separated around 11:30 a.m. Sunday morning. The area off Highway 3 near the Alberta-BC boundary includes steep terrain, with dozens of search and rescue members focusing on an area about 2 kilometers. RCMP say foul play is not suspected, but they are keeping the investigation broad and looking at every possible angle. Nearly 100 searchers and divers are scouring the area with drones, dogs, and ATVs. Crews say they're making progress fighting a forest fire burning south of Ottawa.
We'll continue firefighting with boots on the ground, fire crews going in, cooling down the hot spots, digging up spots where they find there's a lot of heat and applying water there.
The fire is not yet under control, but officials say a combination of rain and firefighting efforts are helping keep the fire at about 40 hectares. No one has been hurt and no structures have been damaged. The township of North Dundas has declared a state of emergency to better direct resources toward fighting the fire. Many Air Canada customers who had their trips disrupted by last month's strike are still waiting to be reimbursed.
Passengers have been having difficulty submitting their claims to Air Canada, both for reimbursement for expenses incurred and for compensation under the European Union's rules.
According to the airline, as of Monday, it was working through a backlog of 54,000 customer complaints. This means people who booked their own flights home or booked hotels while stranded are still waiting to be paid back, some of them carrying interest on their credit cards. They may have to wait a bit longer as well. Air Canada says customers can expect a 4 to 6 week wait for their claims to be processed. An investigation says TikTok has been collecting sensitive data from Canadian children.
There's certain things people consent to, but there's certain things that we find just goes too far, and that's the issue of under 13 children. We just found that for that, even with consent, we find that that's not appropriate.
The joint investigation by the Federal Privacy Commissioner looked into whether valid and meaningful consent was being obtained for the collection, use, and disclosure of personal information. It found TikTok was gathering data on the users who were spending their power to decide on what content to feed back to them. TikTok prohibits users under the age of 13 or 14 in Quebec from using the platform, but many still do. The Privacy Commissioner says TikTok has now agreed to enhance its age verification system to keep underage users off the platform. Well, of course they say practice makes perfect, and this woman has had a lot of practice.
Always take a practice shot. My husband, he was a wonderful golfer, and he said, we have to go out when I retire. And I said, okay, I'll be brave and I'll learn it.
At 100 years old, Pearl Atwood is still swinging strong. She's been playing for 50 years and celebrated her 100th birthday on the course. She golfs every Wednesday morning on a Pennsylvania golf course, one of 60 women playing in a ladies' league. Pearl credits her longevity in life and on the course to her faith.